Hello, BookTube. The iron grip of cold that had held Boston for the last few days, iron grip of cold, persistent, cutting wind, that died off yesterday. And as a result, the early morning this morning was almost temperate. It was certainly not the kind of cold that stops you when you're concentrating on other things and makes you concentrate on it. That was not there. And I had errands to run. I had errands to get out of the way before the whole country shuts down. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in America. Friday might as well be a national holiday. No one does anything on Friday. Tomorrow, no stores will be open at all. No bookstores, no shops that I would go to at all. And Friday, even if they're open, you should feel a little guilty going to them because you're just suborning a parasitical managerial class that is making its employees come in on the day after Thanksgiving. The Friday after Thanksgiving ought to be a national holiday. There's no harm in having a 2-day national holiday. And then there's the weekend. So most people in the United States, if you have any chance of doing it, some people work too hard to do it. Maybe some of you work too hard to do it. But if you have any chance of swinging it, no matter what you do, a lot of people like to make this a 4-day weekend. So there was the image, at least I was able to tell myself that there was the feeling of impending shutdown. And that was all the motivation I needed to go to the Brattle Bookshop. Which is, for those of you who are new to the channel, or quite a few of you who are new, I hear from you in emails, quite a few of the new people who have just found this channel are taking advantage of the fact that I have my email on the video. You can feel free to email me about anything at all. I am not the usual sexy YouTube influencer. I actually want direct contact with you. That email leads straight to my inbox. It is not a fake email or a merch store at all. It's not being policed by a despised third cousin that I'm going to fire at Christmas time or anything like that. It comes straight to me. The only thing I ask of you is that you keep your emails relatively brief and that you exercise a little patience, because I get hundreds of emails a day. I answer all of them. And I also work all day on this computer. So I might not be able to turn around and answer right away, but a number of you are new, so I thought I would explain that the Brattle is a used bookstore in Boston, one of the few remaining used bookstores in Boston. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's got a great friendly staff. They're even friendly to me. There's got 3 stories. First 2 are in this great narrow old Boston building. The first 2 floors are just what you would expect from a used bookstore. Used books on every subject under the sun except romance. Paperback, hardcover, everything that you could think of just piled off and stacked twice on shelves. And then the 3rd floor is collectible books, rare and collectible books. And in addition to that, the shop has a sale lot next door. Thousands more books on carts in the lot next to the building that are only separated by price. $1, $3, and $5 books. So you can sink time into that outdoor sale lot because you can't, unlike the inside of the store, you can't look at a category and say, oh, I'm not interested in that category at all, so I'm just going to skip that aisle. There's no doing that outside. Outside, you just have to take what you can find. And I love it. I absolutely love doing that. It is in my opinion, the perfect way to spend an hour if you're a bookish person, is just combing over those shelves. Even if you were just there a few days ago, there are so many books that you're certain to see something that you didn't see the last time, even if it was there the last time. The outdoor sale lot is also being renewed all the time. And I found a bunch of books, so I thought I would show them to you. The first one is a mass market paperback. I get this whenever I find it because I don't see it as often as I used to. I love this book. This is Chesapeake by James Michener, who just recently came up in a tag video of mine. This is just the mass market paperback. Who knows how many years this thing has been around for 50 years, right? This mass market paperback is 50 years old at least. No? 1978, pretty much 50 years, or 45 years, something like that. So this is one of my favorite Micheners, and it is also one of the most popular Micheners. Even his fans thought this was just a pure home run. You see it in vacation homes along the Chesapeake. It's in every one of them. I used to see it in vacation homes on the Cape, Nantucket and the Vineyard all the time. And I love it. It's not like it was there mistakenly. And I've had this in hardcover. I've had the new trade paperback. But I love the mass market. And when I see it, I grab it because I think it's going away. Then let's see here. Okay, Michener was a best-selling author of the second half of the 20th century. I also got a book by the best-selling author of the first half of the 20th century that nobody remembers anymore, which I think, like I mentioned in an earlier video, is going to happen to James Michener. As weird as that is to feel, you can definitely see that it's true because you can look at previous bestsellers whose books were known by every bookseller in the country because they had to know them, because every third book customer was going to come in and ask for them, and is now gone completely. And the author I'm thinking of here is Joseph Lincoln. This is Blair's Attic. This book was probably from the 30s, 1930, something like that. It's old Cape Cod. Joseph Lincoln he had the brilliant idea of crafting story after story, novel after novel. He was a prolific writer in a kind of mythicized Cape Cod where the locals are down-home folksy type who have infinite earthy wisdom and are a little suspicious of book larnin'. And usually his novels involve someone from the big city coming out to Cape Cod. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, picture the state of Massachusetts, where I live, the greatest state in the Union, is a rectangle, and there's a hook, a fish hook, extending out into the Atlantic Ocean. That fish hook is Cape Cod. And once upon a time, when Joseph Lincoln was writing his books, it took a while to get to Cape Cod. You were vacationing there because you were a fairly good distance from the city. Not like today, where you can take a bus from South Station, be there in an hour. It was a bigger deal, so there was a slight feeling, an increased feeling of isolation and exoticism in a kind of down-home New England way. And Joseph Lincoln, he capitalized on that in a wonderful, wonderful way. His novels are wonderful to read. He didn't do all, they weren't all like this, but the Cape Cod books made him a wealthy man. He actually bought a house on the Cape. And this is written, I think Freeman Lincoln is his son who helped him to write this book. But this is typical Joseph Lincoln fare, and I got it even though it's a little bit ratty condition. What I really want, this publisher, who was this? Coward McCann. They did the whole run of Joseph Lincoln books just like this. So the dust jacket, a Cape Cod painting with it was a shingle house there. They did all of them this way, pretty much all of them this way. And what I really want, and I think I might be out of time, I don't think it's possible to do anymore. What I really want is for somebody to sell a whole bunch of these things to the Brattle. With the dust jackets, even in this condition, I'll put a plastic covering over this so that it won't get any more deteriorated. But what I'd really like is a whole bunch of these things. I grab them when I see them. We've seen a few on this channel, but a Joseph Lincoln book with at least marginally intact dust jacket, boy oh boy, if I could find them all, I would get them all. The Brattle will provide. Sooner or later, they will provide. But in the meantime, I haven't read Blair's Attic in 50 years. So once I can protect the dust jacket, right now the dust jacket is in such delicate shape that I don't think I'd even take it off the book. I would worry that I would tear it apart. I would want to just reinforce it. But once I've done that, it's going to be wonderful to revisit Joseph Lincoln's mythological Cape Cod, which was mythological even when he was writing. And of course, the Cape is, it's a century older now and virtually unrecognizable from what he was writing about. Let's see here. Oh, then we have a book about books. I have a whole bookcase, a book about books. It has to expand. There are many book projects that I have in mind for either the end of this year or the new year. There are many book projects I have in mind to rearrange things, get rid of things, a large number of things. I'm thinking 500 books. And one of the things that needs to be enlarged in a rearrangement is my bookcase about books. Not only do I have a lot of them, but I use them a lot. I go to them a lot. I consult that bookcase a lot. And when you have a bookcase that you consult a lot, you really don't want books that are double stacked. You really don't want to have to do any kind of book origami to get at what you're looking for. So I added another one of those, but it's going to have to find a new home. This was edited by Sean Manning, and this is bound to last. 30 writers write about their favorite books. I love this kind of thing. I've had this book before, although not in this format. I don't think I've ever had this in a paperback. The bean is looking away, so I can put this over here. Who have we got as some examples here? Let's see here. Francine Prose writes about Anderson's fairy tales. Nick Flynn writes about Shadow of the Sun. Joyce Maynard does the Bible. Who else have we got here? David Hadju does Invisible Man. No idea which one. I'm assuming it's Ellison. J. Courtney Sullivan does the Viking Portable Dorothy Parker. Fantastic. Oh, I haven't read that. A lot of these pieces I haven't read. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. I'll probably start with that. Sean Manning himself does Ulysses. Sarah Manguso does Believe It or Not. Ripley's Believe It or Not, maybe? I don't know. Karen Joy Fowler does The Once and Future King. Oh, these are going to be fun to read. Even if I don't particularly like the author. Oh, wait, Jonathan Miles was the last one. Who does he do? Is it religious? Ship of Fools. Oh, my. All right, well, this is going to be fantastic. And books like this, in addition to just being interesting on their own, they always have one extra effect on me, which is to make me want to reread a lot of the books that they mention. Fine by me. I wonder how many of them I'll have. Then this next one is another book with a tattered dust jacket. I grabbed it. I will rescue the dust jacket. And I've never heard of it before. I'm sure that a lot of you have. This is by Manning Coles, and it is called Drink to Yesterday. I gather it's a World War II thriller. It's the amazing and very moving tale of an English spy in Germany. No idea who this author is. Let's see here. Strange as it may appear, most of the incidents in Drink to Yesterday did actually happen. Oh, interesting. Okay, so is this the author's story? Story of an English spy in Germany. This book falls into the familiar and very popular classification of international intrigue and mystery, but it stands out in its field because of its sophistication, its exceptional drama, and its fine writing. Okay, well, this is from oh God, I'm not seeing a date on here. It's an old thing. No, I'm not seeing a date in here. It looks like 1941, something like that. And you've got the moldering paper there. Well, again, I will be very gentle with the dust jacket. That's the nice thing about the Brattle sale lot, is that you can take chances on things you've never heard about before, because everything out there is dirt cheap. That's why I so seldom shop inside the store, because the Brattle sale lot is usually enough to answer any of my needs. Let's see here. Then this next one has a plastic dust jacket, so I don't have to worry about the dust jacket on this one. And this is an author that I've only heard about. I've never read. Science fiction author for New Worlds November. The author is H.L. Gold, who I know as an editor, science fiction editor, who was, if I remember correctly, fairly well regarded as an editor, sort of a figure of esteem. I don't know what his fiction's like at all, but this is a collection of his fiction, The Old Die Rich and Other Science Fiction Stories. Never seen this before. Can't wait to give it a try and see what are some of the stories called. So this came out in 1955. The Old Die Rich is the title story. Trouble with Water, Don't Take It to Heart, Love in the Dark, Man with English, The Biography Project. And 3 to Get Ready is a story called And 3 to Get Ready is in here. I could swear I've seen that in anthologies. That I may have actually read this author. And 3 to Get Ready sounds interesting, or sounds familiar. But anyway, little science fiction for New Worlds November. Then we have a little more science fiction, but I think this is slightly different. This is, what do we got here? Is this also from the 1950s? 1957, yep. This is Coming Attractions, edited by Martin Greenberg, who I think likewise was an editor. And if I remember correctly, some of the stories that I heard from old-time science fiction authors 50 years ago, not an editor that many people liked. But here you have a list of contributors, and I think this is nonfiction. I think that's what this book is. I don't think it has any fiction in it. Well, let's find out. This anthology is different, really different. You'll find the idea behind it has never been done before, and you'll find the various sections of this volume so thought-provoking that you'll keep this book permanently in a convenient spot on your library shelf so that you return to it again and again. The editor has for years been known as one of the truly outstanding anthologists of science fiction. He set a whole trend in the publication of story collections by keying each one of his books to a central theme, All of his adventures in space, in science fiction, of which this book is the latest in the series, have been carefully chosen selections told an overall story of a certain phase of science fiction. Now, in Coming Attraction, he presents what could be called non-fictional science fiction. Here you will find for the first time a labeled display of the unique materials of some popular types of science fiction stories. So this is non-fiction by these authors. What have we got here? Letter to the Martians, How to Learn Martian, Time Travel, Colonizing Other Planets. Okay. All right. Oh, God. Oh, my God. All right. Well, you won't find that in science fiction anthology. This is science nonfiction. This is, from the mid-1950s, the best speculation that science fiction authors were doing about the stuff they would then go on to write fiction about. Could be very interesting. Then we have, let's see here. This thing here, an oddity. I don't know what to make of it. I've never seen it before, so I will definitely give it a try. This is The Tribulations of a Baronet by Timothy Eden. And this is, I know this author's family. There is the author. Here. I know this author's family. It is a long-standing baronetage. So this author was born to the life. He was born to a townhouse in London, a country house in I don't remember exactly where the house is. I want to say Durham, maybe. I don't know. It'll all come back to me, I'm sure. I know this author's family. I think he's dead. He must be dead. When did this thing come out? Are you even going to give me a date? Probably not. 1933. It's a trifle and an oddity, and it was $1. So I grabbed it, of course. Who knows what kind of interesting stuff might be in there. Then we have 3 books that are kind of a triptych of books, all about ancient Rome. Starting with one that I have seen in many, many bibliographies, but I have never actually held a copy in my hand. Can't wait to read it. The bibliographies that I have seen it in all accorded a place of honor as truly meaty, really resourceful Roman history. This is by Alan Ward and is Marcus Crassus and the Late Roman Republic. And for those of you who aren't familiar with your Roman physiognomy, that is Marcus Crassus, because that is Pompey the Great. And this is a story. You can see it's got tons and tons of footnotes. Every contention is footnoted. Look at that. Fantastic. This is I haven't read it, but I gather it's the story of the very end of the Roman Republic. Marcus Crassus was one of the architects of the end of the Roman Republic and would have been around to reap whatever benefits there might have been, or to kill himself in advance of Caesar finding him. But he did a military adventure in the East and was killed. I'm always in the mood to add serious, weighty Roman history to my collection. But even more so maybe lately, because I just recently read Froude's book, Caesar, A Sketch. I read it on my Kindle and loved it. Oh my God, such unbelievable eloquence. In addition to, how smartly he sifts the sources, just unbelievably eloquent. And that, I have to admit, revived my interest, not only in ancient Roman studies, but also in Julius Caesar himself. Julius Caesar will be all over this book. He had intimate, long-standing dealings with both Pompey and Crassus, married into Pompey's family. We will see how he's treated in this book. But the other 2 books that I got are very much along the lines of the same thing. Like this thing, for instance. This thing came out after I was back in the reviewing game. But it was a university press, the University of Cambridge press. I don't think I even saw it. I don't think I saw any hint of it that year. And now, 20 years later, I finally see it. This is by Christopher Mackay, and it is the breakdown of the Roman Republic, from oligarchy to empire. Also heavily sourced and footnoted. So, again, this is a study of a subject that I know really well and am really interested in, and I've never read this. So I will read it. I will give it. These are both on the same subject. These are both on the end of the Roman Republic and the rise of Julius Caesar as opportunistic dictator. And along those lines, the third book I got, this one I have read. I haven't had my copy in forever, and this one is not my copy. Definitely, I know that. This is by the classicist Matthias Gelser, and this is his book Caesar, Politician and Statesman. One of the best modern biographies of Julius Caesar. And the way that I know it's not mine, I had this as an American trade paperback. I got it when I was working in retail and bought a copy in trade paperback, read it, loved it, kept studying it, underlining things in it. But this isn't mine because this can't be an American trade paperback. Or if it is, it's been subject to some weird environmental factors because it's very floppy, and university press books never are. So, but I haven't given this. I don't have my trade paperback with all those notes, all those careful annotations. I don't have that anymore. I had no idea where it went. But now I have this book again, and it feeds into. And this is probably my 10th or 13th book on Julius Caesar, about whom I have very little but scorn. But I'm now very interested to read what later writers do with their sources for him. So there was 3 Roman books, and then the last thing I got was very heavy. It's a box set of hardcovers. It was very heavy. I had no muscular teenagers to help me carry it. No beasts of burden. I had to carry it on my own. But I'm glad to have it. I love box sets just in general because they are their own bookcase. You don't have to find room for them. You can put them down somewhere and they hold their shape. But also, this is something that I haven't had. This is the Tale of Genji, but it's by one particular translator. It's by Edward Seidensticker. Here we have it in a 2-volume box set. Lovely thing. This was the sort of the yardstick by which all other Genji translations were measured. There have been 2 full-scale, unedited English language translations since this one that have made, I think, some much better decisions than Seidensticker did. But Seidensticker's his translation has a remarkable amount of grace and is better at the other 2, the Washburn and the Royal Tyler, in that Seidensticker has a better ear for something that Murasaki Shikibu does throughout this book very knowingly. Very knowingly throughout this book, she will archly insinuate something. She will get you just to the doorstep of some point, and then it's kind of a knowing look. But there's absolutely nothing on the page. And in the 21st century, translators don't trust their audience to get that, or they don't see it themselves. And Seidensticker had an unbelievably canny ear for that. So this is an exquisite reading experience on its own. And this was made into a 1-volume trade paperback in the United States. I don't think there was ever a 1-volume hardcover of the Seidensticker Genji. But I had a 1-volume trade paperback, and I sent it away to somebody in Japan, to a young guy in Japan. I think I paid through the nose to get it there, and I've never come across it since. And actually, now that I think about it, I mean, I would have snapped up a trade paperback, but now that I think about it, this is kind of the form that I want. If I'm going to have a print version, I believe I have the Seidensticker as an ebook as well. I know I have the Washburn, I know I have the Royal Tyler, I know I have the Whaley, the Arthur Whaley. I think I have this as an ebook as well, but this has these are lovely. These volumes are lovely. They have woodcuts all throughout them, as Genji volumes tend to do. They're nice, solid binding, and unlike many box sets, they slide right out of this thing. I won't be fighting with this box set. So this is, I think, my second Genji box set. I have the Royal Tyler in a 2-volume box set as well. This was not made into a Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition like the Royal Tyler version was. There's just an ordinary trade paperback of it, and I'll probably grab that trade paperback if I see it, but I'll take this in the meantime and keep it. Absolutely, this is a keeper. So there you go. That was the pre-Thanksgiving Brattle trip. We have the Tale of Genji, 3 books on ancient Rome, 3 books basically on Caesar, on Julius Caesar. We have Matthias Gelser's book is just about Caesar, but this McKay book and this Alan Ward book are also about the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of Caesar's sole rule. So he'll be all over all of them. Then we have the Tribulations of a Baronet. I don't know how many tribulations a baronet could have. Maybe a rainy day fox hunting. We have Coming Attractions and The Old Die Rich, 2 science fiction volumes that I have never seen and have almost no familiarity with. We have Drink to Yesterday, a thriller. I have never seen this before. I've never seen it in a trade paperback. Don't know anything about its print history. We have Bound to Last, 30 writers on their favorite books. And we have, let's see here, Blair's Attic by Joseph Lincoln. Really hoping that the appearance of this volume betokens other Joseph Lincoln volumes. And finally, Chesapeake by James Michener. No used book haul would be complete without it. It's not anything special. It's just a mass market. There were 1 million copies of it in mass market, but I love the book. And I loved it first as a mass market paperback. And I don't think I have it in any other format right now, so except ebook. So I'm glad to have it. And there you go. The Brattle will not be open on Thanksgiving. They probably open on Friday, but I don't think I'll be going. I think I'll be nice and comfortably situated reading the whole time. But anyway, we'll be talking between now and then, absolutely. So I'll wrap up this Brattle haul for now, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.